Hello YouTube, hello McTow, hello Red Pill, this is redpill.1. And I'm going to get into as to why I would never date a black woman in America. Especially from the community. I do not want my son confused. I do not want my daughter to turn into the destroyer of worlds. I do not want my daughter to have a terrible outlook on men when a man had to plant a seed into her mother in order to form her, to create her. I do not want my son to be emasculated like this Western culture has promoted. When I was younger, I used to look at black women as something of a journey that would help me bring my life together. You know, I used to look at black women in an admirable sense. Because you know why? Because, well, obvious reasons. In my later as time went on, as time went on in my youth, I began to see the truth. You know, I began to see the truth about my culture. Oh, not my culture, they've disowned me. About the community. Black women in the community, more black women in general. And as time went on and numerous chains of events happened, I began to revere them less and less. I didn't lose my virginity to a black woman. Which is why I went MGTOW. And not SYSBM. That's one L they took. But nonetheless, it was traumatic. After countless times of seeing the same thing over and over and over again, and seeing the modern times of how susceptible black men are without their fathers, I began to revere them even more in a negative sense. Now, I might go on live streams where there's like 2, 3, 4 people in the panel, and I'll stay quiet. I will be silent. And everybody who knows me, I have a certain cadence where I space words out, because I prefer to keep things in an orderly sense as they come out. But back on the topic. In my 20s, my early 20s, which is about the time I lost my virginity, 21, I learned that there are other cultures out there. And if they're willing to Give me a chance. But that dissipated. In my mid-20s was the last straw for black women. In my mid-20s was my last straw for black women. I couldn't do it anymore. Was approaching the last straw. And toward the late 20s, I had given up on not only black women, but women in general. Especially in the West. Completely and utterly given up. I learned if I have a child with a black woman, if he's a boy, he won't be a man for long. And if it's a girl, she'll be the destroyer of worlds. And if I have a child by any other race in the West, whether they're a boy or a girl, they're just going to be destroyers of worlds. Yes, I still do have MGTOW tendencies. I still will be, but probably will be MGTOW. At 35, I'm literally counting down the years to 40. And I know, and just like everybody in the comments says, you're just gonna die alone. Everybody dies alone. It's just the fact is, everybody dies alone at some point. It's just the fact of the matter is, I'm going to die uncomfortable. I'm going to die without family. That's the fact of the matter. I'm going to die without family. That's the fact of the matter. It is what it is. As I get older, I see lines on my face. I see the lines on my face. I see them become more prominent. Lines of disappointment. The lines of frustration. And they become more prominent as time goes on. I'm not angry with women. I don't hate anybody. I'm not scornful. I'm disappointed. Extremely disappointed. I'm disappointed with everything life has had to offer me. In the choices of options that I have. Sorely disappointed. I'm disappointed in women's actions. I'm I have disappointment in society that may never dissipate. I've had to learn to accept that some things just were not meant to be. I am part of the 49% of men who will die childless. Potentially the 50% of men. And am I okay? Am I okay with it? Do I have a choice? Do I have a choice? For some men, MGTOW is for life. For some men, MGTOW is for life. For me, it's looking that way. I'm 5 years off of 40. I am 5 years off of 40. It is what it is. This is Redpill.1 signing off.